It is unbelievable how these Democrats are so upset that the truth is being pursued. Can't make it up, folks. Fox Business is reporting an expected U.S. hiring boom crashed into a wall in April, with employers adding a measly 266,000 new jobs, sharply missing Wall Street's expectations amid a growing shortage of available workers. Yeah, so now understand this. Unemployment is where it is not because there's not jobs, but because there's not people to take the jobs. I mean, just ride around anywhere in eastern North Carolina and look at these businesses and the help wanted signs out front of these businesses. They're everywhere. So why didn't we have an increase in jobs? Because there are no employees. Why are there no employees? Because they're all sitting at home spending their stimulus checks. And look, we talked earlier this week about how the postal system is failing us big time. And one of the reasons the post office says is can't get anybody to deliver the mail. What's really sad is these people, they just, there's no responsibility. They just all of a sudden decide, I'm not going to show up for work. Why? Well, because I just received a check. Got a check and, they paid for my kids. They paid for me. They paid for my wife. So I just stay at home for the next month. Man, I won the lottery, so I'm not going to show up for work. Unemployment rate expectedly rose to 1.6%, while still below the April 2020 peak of 14.7%. It's about twice the pre-crisis level, the Labor Department said in its monthly payroll report released Friday morning. Economists surveyed expected the report to show that unemployment fell to 5.8% and the economy added almost 1 million jobs. Not quite, just 250,000. The figure marks a significant drop from March's downward revision of 770,000 and February's upward revised of 500,000. Anyway, it's unemployment is where it is because there's nobody to take the jobs. Carolina Journal is reporting the State House wants Congress to reject proposals for packing the U.S. Supreme Court. The House voted 68-44 Thursday to support a federal Keep 9 amendment to the U.S. Constitution. House Joint Resolution 286 urges Congress to propose the Keep 9 amendment, which would declare the Supreme Court of the United States shall be composed of just 9 justices. What's interesting is a Democrat from Wake County, a guy named Abe Jones, Representative Abe Jones, he's a Democrat. Now, the vote fell along party lines except for Abe Jones, who spoke out against packing the court. He said, I look at this strictly as a lawyer and as a person who has been in the judging business most of my professional career. I don't like losing elections. It's not fun. I hope my side can win some elections going down the road, but I think if you start down the road of we change the number of people in the Supreme Court just because we lost some elections, what's the next one going to do? What's the next one? The next one, he added. We'll go up to 11, we'll go up to 13, we'll go to 15. Give me a break. What's interesting about this is our own Keith Kidwell said almost the same thing. Representative Kidwell rejected court packing proposals from either party. There's going to be a day when Republicans will be back in power, he said. We could turn around and pack it in our direction at that point. When the Democrats take it back, they could repack it in theirs. Eventually, we could go up with a couple of hundred members, perhaps. And, well, that's not going to happen. But it was interesting that there were Democrats that want to see the court packed. And some of them came out and said, well, the number of justices on the Supreme Court has changed throughout our history. It has been at 9 for about 150 years. And they are correct that the number of the justices on the Supreme Court has changed over the years. It started out at 6. From 1789 to 1807, the court was made up of 6 justices. In 1807, a 7th justice was added, followed by an 8th and a ninth in 1837 and a 10th in 1863. The size of the court has sometimes been subject to political manipulations. In 1866, Congress provided for the gradual reduction through attrition to a court of 7 justices. So it's gone up and down over the years. But one thing it has never done is we've never had a time where suddenly we're saying we're going to add a block of justices, as is being proposed right now, where we would add 4 justices. Never in our history has this happened. And in the past, if you look at history, justices were added and taken away over a period of years, sometimes decades. But now this progressive legislators and progressive member of the White House, they won a court pack with 4 at one swoop. And, this is pretty obvious. This is not being done in the name of sound jurisprudence. Rather, it is a blatant abusive power grab. That's it. There's not an interest in justice. There's not an interest in actually trying to follow the Constitution as it was written. This is a blatant power grab for the purpose of implementing their policies, which they can't pass at the ballot box. I mean, this last election, we saw corruption at the yeah, I'm saying it. I know maybe I'm in the minority. Even a lot of people that want to brand themselves as conservatives say, oh, you can't question whether or not that was a legitimate election. I do. But beyond that, okay, we've got policies that if you put the policies out and explain them clearly, they wouldn't pass the ballot box. And we'll see this in the 2022 election, provided we have a fair election. And I think we'll see it in the 2024 election as well. You can't get it at the ballot box, so what do? We'll pack the court. Speaking of injustices, and again, this is coming out of the Biden White House, the Progressive Congress, the American Rescue Plan, one of Joe Biden's trillion-dollar plans. The Epoch Times is reporting a disabled white farmer is suing the Joe Biden administration over his COVID-19 loan forgiveness program, alleging he can't participate. Why? Because he's white. Yeah, white male on top of that. Adam Faust, a white resident of Chilton, Wisconsin, is one of 5 Midwestern farmers who filed suit on April the 6th that accuses the federal government of violating their constitutional rights. The plaintiffs are farmers from Wisconsin, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Ohio who have direct loans with the Farm Service or USDA backed loans, and are otherwise eligible for the loan forgiveness program in Biden's America Rescue Plan Act. There's only one problem. His skin color is the wrong color. Attorneys for the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty filed the suit on behalf of white farmers in federal court in Green Bay, Wisconsin. As per the lawsuit, the American Rescue Plan of 2021, the ARPA, provides $4 billion to forgive loans for, quote, socially disadvantaged farmers and ranchers. But you got to read the fine print. The phrase socially disadvantaged includes explicit racial classifications, according to the lawsuit, in which, in order to get this debt relief, the farmers or ranchers must either be black, Native American, Hispanic, Asian American, or Pacific Islander. It contends other farmers, white farmers, for example, are ineligible. Now, quote, were plaintiffs eligible for loan forgiveness benefit, they would have the opportunity to make additional investments in property, expand their farms, purchase equipment, supplies, otherwise support their families and local communities, the lawsuit states. Because plaintiffs are ineligible to even apply for the program solely due to their race, they have been denied the equal protection of the law and therefore suffered harm, the lawsuit adds. The lawsuit requests that the court enter a temporary and preliminary injunction preventing defendants from applying racial classifications when determining eligibility for loan modifications and payments to declare the racial classifications are unconstitutional. You know, this has been a battle that has been going on for a long time. Not to rehash it again, but, you know, I went through a similar battle with the Federal Communications Commission in trying to obtain a license for an FM radio station in Frederick, Maryland, years and years ago. And the federal government came out at that point and said Lamprecht's got a birth defect. He's a white male. And they actually said he is the best qualified to receive this license, but for his birth defect. He's a white male. Here is the problem, though. This is what the FCC did to me. A court will say that this is unconstitutional. I mean, it clearly is unconstitutional. You cannot use race as a criteria. The court's going to say that. And what will happen is the Department of Agriculture under the Biden administration will say, oh, okay. And by the way, they know up front that this is unconstitutional. It's not a question of, we're sorry, we didn't realize that. They know that. At the end of the day, the money, even though they'll say, okay, well, it's unconstitutional, at the end of the day, the money will still go to the people, the demographic that they want it to go to, that the progressive deem most worthy of receiving this forgiveness, this loan forgiveness. In the meantime, they'll keep it tied up in courts at the taxpayer's expense. I mean, this is what is so infuriating. There are individuals in the Biden administration and at the Department of Agriculture who know that this is unconstitutional. They know, in essence, they are breaking the law. I mean, if you're breaking the Constitution, you're breaking the law ultimately. That is the ultimate law of our land, the United States Constitution. They know they're breaking it, and yet they won't be held accountable. The taxpayer will end up paying for government lawyers to go and keep this thing in litigation for years. Finally, after Biden is out of office, it'll be settled. But the people who broke the law, they will never be held accountable. They'll be, we disagreed with the court. We thought we were right and they were wrong, and nothing will happen. And farmers like Mr. Faust will probably never see a nickel of the money. Faust, who is the owner of Faust Farms, branded the program as racist. You are right, Mr. Faust. Here's the other thing. We hear about systemic racism, that America is a white supremacist, racist country, and systemic racism is all over. Look, and I disagree with that accusation, except for this kind of systemic racism. This is systemic racism. This is a system of racism. You've got the federal government. You got the Joe Biden administration. You got the Department of Agriculture coming forth with a policy that is a system of racism. So, yeah, there is systemic racism. But it's not the way you think it is. It's not the way the liberals want to project it. Whew. Unbelievable. But this is how we're operating. Hey, we're going to take a time out. Lots more to talk about on this Friday edition of News and Views. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
And we're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We're on location at one of my favorite places in the whole planet because this is some of the best food you're ever going to eat in your life. We are at Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. It's one of my hangouts. It's one of the places that I love. I got my friend Pietro Passalacqua. How'd I do?
You did great.
Let's talk about the food. What makes this place? I know it's special Italian from authentic Italians, but tell us why it's so special.
Because everything we do, it's really what we came up on the menu from what we did at home, from my grandparents, my parents, So it's exactly what we eat at home, and that's what the way we cook. That's why it's special.
And the atmosphere in this place is special also. From the bar to the two dining areas, you got two different dining areas, and now the weather's nice, so there's going to be a lot of folks that want to eat outside.
Yeah, we have two rooms. One room is designed a little different. We're also working on the patio to make it more attractive and more useful in the summer with a cocktail service. And we're always improving our services.
And, of course, my friends here, my buddy, Chef Massimo, who I love, and Sal and Pietro, you guys do a great job here. Not just Italian, but I had a great pork chop here the other night. You got great steaks, too.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're also adding filet mignon in the future on our menu. And Massimo is coming out with a really good side dishes for it. And so we're really excited to come out with new meats and fish dishes.
All right, Nino's on Red Banks Road in Greenville. Same people that give you Marabello's and the great pizza that you get at Marabello's, but this is fine dining at Nino's. If you haven't been here, you don't know what you're missing. Come see them at Nino's on Red Banks Road. And Pietro, what is that famous saying about Nino's?
The food that you enjoy with people that you love.
If your mom was president, the pandemic would be over.
Cover your mouth when you cough. Did you wash your hands?
Spending bills wouldn't be an issue.
What? You think I'm made of money?
There would be no border crisis.
I'm gonna count to 3. Don't make me come down there.
And maybe there would be peace.
I don't care who started it. Knock it off.
Vote Mom 2024.
I do not approve of this message or of what you've been eating. Let me fix you something.
This message paid for by Kids for a Happy Mother's Day on Talk 96.3 and 103.7. Now back to News and Views with Tom Lamprecht.
Welcome
Benny
back.
Hardy.
Oh, yes. Well, Benny is not here today. It is just Clark and I. Today is May 7th. It is National No Pants Day. Yes. Oh, my. There are people around the country. Sadie and I covered the story a long time ago. I mean, years ago when it first came out. I think it was the second annual No Pants Day. There are people around the country that get on subways and buses with no pants on.
Oh, my.
Yeah, just saying. More importantly, though, it's 2 days to Mother's Day. Clark was just telling me he's already sent his mom a card and a gift card, and that's a good boy. But guys and gals, remember Mom. Make sure you go out and buy some flowers. Taking a look at your weather forecast, tonight showers and thunderstorms likely before 9 o'clock. Then gradual clearing. Low's going to be around 46, so you can open up the window and enjoy the cool. Chance of precip is 60% for the early part of the evening. Saturday and Sunday look great. Lots of sunshine. Saturday's high near 71. Sunday's high near 81. And nighttime lows Saturday night, clear skies 48. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low of 67. So looking pretty good. Weather brought to you by our friends at University PC Care. They've been Eastern North Carolina's go-to IT experts for quite a while now. Unfortunately, most organizations simply react to IT issues after the damage is done. This is known as the break-fix cycle in the tech services industry. One example might be you show up for work and your computer's down. You submit a repair ticket. The tech shows up or remotes you in to try to fix it. In the meantime, you're down, losing productivity, maybe losing files. University PC Care's Businesses Services Division has a better way, a proactive way solution called BizCare. BizCare tech support and cybersecurity plans are always on duty, staying ahead of potential problems, keeping you up and running with less downtime and much safer from threats like ransomware. Want to know more? Call William at 394-8572. He'll schedule a free BizCare consultation, or you can go to University PC Care to learn more. Portland's revolutionaries are back. Black Lives Matter and Antifa, full force. Yesterday, they took over a busy street, pulling guns on drivers who dared to try to dart past the mob. They were holding a rally for a gangland shooter who was killed by police in 2018. And by the way, the court said this was very much a justified shooting of a gang member. Yesterday's chaotic scene included guns being drawn on white drivers by the multiracial BLM and Antifa protesters. One driver drew his own weapon in response. The driver was reportedly beaten, held against his will, and had his back window destroyed with shots of some sort fired by an AK-47 and an AR-15. The terrorist blew out his gun, beat him up, took his keys, took his wallet, took his gun. You know, it's interesting. Earlier this week, there was a story out where the former head of the CIA under Obama, John Brennan, called right-wing conservative groups domestic terrorists. Somehow Johnny Boy forgot to include these groups when he was talking about domestic terrorists. And I'm not saying there has never been a right-wing group that has gone beyond the bounds of the law. But comparing the two, I don't think it's the right-wing groups that do this on a regular basis. Multiple sharp sounds were heard following the sound of whooshing air after militants flattened tires of a car that was the gun-wielding crowd had forced to stop. As officers arrived, they did not find any pedestrians who claimed to have been struck. That's why the officers showed up. They didn't show up because there was this riot going on. There was terrorism going on at the point of a gun. They showed up because somebody had reported a pedestrian had been hit by a car. So the large group of terrorists moved away from that area when police showed up. Officers remained in the area, taking notes, collecting information, evidence. Meanwhile, the terrorists just sort of wandered away a few blocks away. No reports of arrests. I mean, this is a joke. If this is the response from police, is it any wonder that this man who felt like he was being attacked felt like he needed to pull his own gun, defend himself and his basic rights? Additional calls came in from people who had been driving vehicles in the area who were blocked by the crowd in the street. One person said people in the crowd broke out their vehicle windows, damaged tires, sprayed them with some kind of irritant. A person in another vehicle blocked by the crowd got into a dispute with people who surrounded him and took a firearm from him, as well as tools and keys. So these people are stopping cars and taking the keys. If they've got any firearms, they're taking those. This is the banana republic that Democrats are proposing we live by. And Portland, by the way, has been run by Democrats for decades. They want to defund the police. I mean, really, law-abiding police officers that really want to enforce the law, they're gone. Instead, we've got social workers, basically, running the police department. You know, this is going to be a throwback to the Wild West days. And look, I am not proposing that we return to vigilante justice. But when there's anarchy like this, and there is no justice, I mean, we've heard story after story. How many of these Antifa BLMs who have broken the law, if they're arrested, they're back on the street within hours? If there's no justice except vigilante justice, you're going to see vigilante justice. I'm not proposing that this is a good thing. No, we need real justice. We need real law enforcement. We need to follow the laws on the books. I hesitate to say this, but when you see the bad guys using firearms to force people to follow their unlawful dictates, you're going to see a response from people defending themselves. Perhaps those defending themselves in this situation It didn't look like any of them actually fired their guns at the terrorists this time. But if there's not real law enforcement that steps up to the plate, who knows what will happen next time? I mean, it's a very dangerous situation. And it's very much like the Wild West days. If the local sheriff is going to look the other way and pretend it's not going to happen, you're going to have somebody come along and say, "Okay, well, I'm not going to be the victim of this." Quite frankly, the only reason they're probably that the people that are trying to defend themselves aren't defending themselves more proactively is because they're afraid they're going to get arrested, which they will. Last week, Joe Biden, in a speech to Congress, proposed yet another tax increase, this one supposedly on the wealthy. If you are making less than $400,000 a year, you won't see one nickel of tax increase, Joe said. He said this week that if you're making less than $400,000, you won't pay any taxes. Senile Joe can't get it right. Joe used those familiar words from Barack Obama that those rich people need to pay their fair share, which would imply that everybody pays a share, right? No. The people that pay the majority of your taxes are those people who make the big checks. They're already paying more than their fair share. But I digress. The Federalist goes on to report, while Joe is saying everybody needs to pay their fair share, Joe Biden doesn't pay his fair share. Upon leaving the vice presidency in early 2017, he and his wife Jill exploited a tax loophole of questionable legality to dodge hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes and use these savings to fund lavish real estate holdings. How can someone avoid more than $500,000 in taxes? Good question. Apparently, Joe, cousin Eddie, while he is not the brightest bulb in the pack, he did hire attorneys and CPAs who are brighter than he. And basically, they funneled their income, which, by the way, when he left the office of vice president, from 2017 through 2019, just a period of 2 years, Joe and Jill, and aren't these people supposed to be public servants? Joe, and blue-collar Joe, I'm just an average guy, right? Joe and Jill took in $13.5 million in book and speech incomes. Who in the world would pay that kind of money to hear Joe speak or to read a book he's read or written? So anyway, they formed two corporations to funnel the money through. Why? Because that way they could avoid paying payroll taxes to the tune of $513,540. The Wall Street Journal called the Biden's maneuvers pretty aggressive. So, Joe, are you paying your fair share, Joe? Just asking. Been following the story of Bill and Melinda Gates. According to a new story out of the Daily Beast, in September of 2013, Bill Gates and his wife, Melinda, supposedly met with Jeffrey Epstein in New York City. Melinda was ticked, not too happy. She was uncomfortable with any association with Epstein. She was furious with Bill Gates. And again, remember, this is on the heels of the story we talked about earlier, where Bill Gates was having a rendezvous, a annual rendezvous with his former girlfriend. It was part of the wedding vows. I mean, the wedding agreement. I mean, it was, I'll take you for better, for worse, for richer or poorer, until death do us part. and except for on the weekend, once a year, where I go and meet with my old girlfriend at a beach cottage in the beaches of North Carolina. That probably didn't go over real well either, but this Jeffrey Epstein episode was apparently a real explosive time for Melinda and Bill. Melinda was not too happy. Apparently, the couple met with Jeffrey the same day they accepted the Lasker Bloomberg Public Service Award. But that was not the first time Gates had met Epstein. The Daily Beast pointed out, as the New York Times reported in 2011, Gates met with Epstein on numerous occasions. This was years after Epstein pleaded guilty to soliciting an underage girl in Florida. By then, accusations that Epstein exploited girls and young women were widely reported in the press. The Times also noted that Gates had met Epstein at various times between 2011 and 2013, and Epstein attempted to solicit donations for a charitable fund. Then in 2013, Gates also took a ride on Epstein's private jet, christened by the tabloids as the Lolita Express. He went from Teterboro Airport in New Jersey to Palm Beach, Florida, according to flight records reviewed by the Times. CNBC reported in 2019 Epstein's discussion with Gates included at least one meeting which took place in New York in 2013 while Gates was still Microsoft's chairman. Gates said in 2019, I met him, sounds like Bill Clinton here, I met him, I didn't have any business relationship or friendship with him. I didn't go to New Mexico or Florida or Palm Beach or any of that. There were people around him who were saying, hey, if you want to raise money for global health and get more philanthropy, he knows a lot of rich people. So he says, hey, I never went to Palm Beach with him. And yet the New York Times reports that he flew in the Lolita Express from New Jersey to Palm Beach, Florida. Now, here's a question I've got for you. And the article goes on to say any meetings he had, they were with nothing but men around. It was all business, blah, 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 blah. Why would one of the richest men in the world, it says, he didn't have anything to do with him, he just met him on occasion, strictly for business, then why in the world would you ride on the Lolita Express with Jeffrey Epstein, the richest man in the world, the guy that's got multiple of his own jets? He didn't need to ride on that. I mean, he probably had to shuttle his own jet from New Jersey to Palm Beach to pick him up and take him wherever he went next. But who did he ride with? Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. The question is, how did the marriage last this long? We got to take another time out. When we get back, Governor Gretchen Whitmer back in the news, and she's got some splaining to do. We'll be right back.
Break the chain. Eat local. Tiebreakers.
Hey, this is Hank Hinton back here at Full Service Flooring in Winterville. I'm here today with Corey Little, who's the operations manager here at Full Service Flooring. Corey's been here 6 months, but you've been in construction a long time. Tell us about what you do here at Full Service Flooring.
Yeah, I got over here about 6 months ago. I've been in construction for, like I said, a little over 20 years, and I've known Tim for a long time now, and he's brought me over here to see what new kind of things I can bring to the store and to our customers. And I'm in charge of scheduling, and I don't know what else. I'm in charge of everything. It seems like we work together as a team and try to pull it all together. I might do a measure one day and do a commercial floor the next day, but we just kind of all work together and pull it all together at one time.
So what's new in flooring? What is the hot new thing?
The hot new thing is LVP or LVT, depending on what you're looking for, which look you're looking for. It's a waterproof product. It's absolutely fantastic. You can't really beat it.
A lot cheaper than hardwoods?
It is definitely a cost-effective alternative to hardwoods, yes, sir.
So, Corey, how is business right now?
And business is good. Despite the pandemic, we're still seeing a lot of new customers in the store, and we get an opportunity to introduce our products in a lot of different situations right now.
Corey, you've got a lot of experience in the construction industry. How is that helping you here with people, helping people with flooring here at Full Service Flooring?
Sure. I try to take the experiences that I've gained over my time in construction to help apply that to the flooring, whether it be with what the structure is made out of, the subfloor that we're going over top of, or maybe even just how it coordinates with your kitchen cabinets in construction or in your bathroom, and how the tub and everything all ties together.
And a customer can just come here and see you anytime?
Absolutely. We're here 6 days a week, and we just love to see a new customer in here anytime. They can always call us and schedule something with us so we can make sure we have our time allotted for them.
Corey, thank you so much. That's Corey Little here at Full Service Flooring. Come see these guys. They're on Tilco Drive in Winterville, 756-9308 and fullserviceflooring.com.
In North Carolina, we get up before the sun rises and stay up into the wee hours of the night. We believe in working hard and playing harder. Behind every meal, there's a farmer, and behind every farmer, there's Got to Be NC, the official state identity program for North Carolina agricultural products. Look for the Got to Be NC logo wherever you shop or eat, and you'll know you're getting a quality product grown, raised, caught, or made in North Carolina.
What's happening now?
200 million shots.
Violent rioting.
Systemic racism.
Justice in Policing Act.
Deadly force can be the response.
Your station for what's happening next and online.
Justice in America.
The sentence is actually handed down.
People get vaccinated. Danger of the surge coming up.
At ENCNewsandViews.com.
We're entering a new phase.
How did we get here?
And here's what we know.
The information.
Here's Tom and Benny with more news and views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
Welcome back in. Tom Lamprecht with you. The Federalist is reporting that Governor Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan has reportedly been caught. Now, she is constantly telling the folks in her home state, stay home, don't travel. Said it again just last week. She's on CNBC, or MSNBC, I should say, on Meet the Press, and don't travel, stay at home. But she, on the other hand, remember last year, when she was saying, don't travel, don't go on vacation, don't go anywhere, her husband was doing all he could to go to his vacation home, their vacation home, to get his boat in the water so he could go vacationing. And they got caught for that. Well, now they're caught again. In the midst of her saying, don't travel, she apparently went to a businessman and solicited his private jet, to fly her down to Florida to see her elderly father. When confronted with this by WWTV, she said, I've got nothing to add. I said everything I'm going to say about my trip to check on my father. We have nothing else to add. We don't discuss my travel. I've received an incredible number of death threats over the last year, and there's a lot of reasons we don't discuss how I travel or when I travel. That's right. You're the victim. You're the victim. Poor Governor Whitmer. So she gets back from Florida. She goes back on and says once again, don't travel.
Whatever happened to her impeachment?
Good question. I don't know. She was.
I'll look into that.
Yeah. Thank you, our crack producer. Jumping in, looking it up. He'll have it before the end of the program. The Blaze is reporting, a lot of media outlets are reporting on this. The Archbishop in the Catholic Church from San Francisco is Archbishop Salvador Cordileone. He has delivered a scathing rebuke to Democrat House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, as well as Joe Biden and other prominent pro-choice Catholics, in a recent missive about the evils of abortion. I've got to take my hat off to the Catholic Church. They have, now I can't account for everybody in the Catholic Church, but the Catholic Church as a whole, especially here in the United States, has been very, very much in the forefront on this pro-life issue, the sanctity of life issue. In the pastoral letter issued this last weekend titled, Before I Formed You in the Womb, I Knew You, Cordileone took prominent Catholics who supported abortion to task for the promotion of an act that the church holds to be a great sin, prominent figures in society help to shape the mores of that society, and in our culture, their advocacy of abortion definitely leads others to do evil, he wrote. This must be stated with clarity. Anyone who actively works to promote abortion shares some of the guilt for abortions performed because of their actions. Now, he goes on to say in this that as a result, these individuals should not be participating in Holy Communion and that this sacrament should be withheld. He's encouraging priests in the Catholic Church who would administer Holy Communion to withhold it from the likes of Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden. Now, this is not the first time this has come up. We've talked about before, there was a Catholic priest who at one point apparently was serving in Greenville, North Carolina, was down in Florence, South Carolina. He withheld communion when Joe Biden attended church there in South Carolina. Chelsea Clinton, the great theologian Chelsea Clinton, came out with a tweet earlier this week saying, "It's so wrong of Archbishop Salvador Cordileone to deny President Biden and Speaker Pelosi Holy Communion because they support a woman's God-given right to choose. If it happens to be the choice of murder, well, that's no big deal." She goes on to say, if Jesus were alive today, are you ready for this? If Jesus were alive today, he'd be working at Planned Parenthood. She has the chutzpah to say, "Go read your Bible, Father." Oh, yeah, that's a hard one to swallow. Yeah, thank you, theologian Chelsea Clinton. By the way, PJ Media is reporting that during a Zoom conference yesterday, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, went crazy during this craziness. Crazy rant, AOC, there, I repeat myself. She claimed that Planned Parenthood, the nation's largest abortion provider, saves lives. She actually went on to say, and if you don't believe it, if you've never met a Planned Parenthood baby, I'm happy to tell you I am one. There you go. Planned Parenthood saving lives. We got to take another time out. Stay with us. More news and views coming right up.
Anything could happen ever since I met you. Let me take you dancing.
Introducing Pepsi Mango.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
Turn that old vehicle into cash when you cash in your trade-in at Greenville Toyota. Get up to 125% of book value for your vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Trade for Camry, $189 a month. Now at Greenville Toyota.
Sawyer's Fun Park in Winterville is now open. With over 40,000 square feet of family fun, daily money-saving deals, and a full-service restaurant, Sawyer's Fun Park is guaranteed to have something the whole family will love. Test your ninja skills on our 2-story obstacle course or head over to one of our 5 rock walls and race your friends to the top. And when you've worked up an appetite in our laser tag arena or our one-of-a-kind ropes course, grab a table over at the restaurant and try our world-famous Southern Monster Fries. Reserve your spot today at SawyersFunPark.com and come join in on the fun.
My name is Dr. Neeti Armistead, Chief Medical Officer for Vidant Health. The following simple steps will help keep you and your community safe. Stay home as much as possible, wear a mask when out in public, avoid large gatherings, practice social distancing, and wash hands often. It's also important not to delay needed care. Vidant has taken important steps to provide you and your family with a safe environment. Learn more about COVID-19 and Vidant's response. Call 252-847-8000 or visit vidanthealth.com/COVID-19.
Acre Station Meat Farm, along with Lane Angus Beef, bring you Farm to Fork Beef.
Stock your freezers now with affordable beef boxes, just in time for the grilling season.
Farm to Fork Beef brings quality local beef to your family. From your traditional butcher shop, Acre Station Meat Farm. Come on down to Acre Station Meat Farm and find out why we're #1 in fresh cuts and friendly service.
Acre Station Meat Farm, Highway 32 North, Pinetown.
Cash in your trade-in now at Greenville Toyota. We need your vehicle, and it's never been worth more. Get cash for your vehicle today, up to 125% of book value. Then trade into a new Corolla, $159 a month. Now at Greenville Toyota.
This one's for everyone who spends the amount of time it would take to watch a movie, agreeing on which movie to watch. You've compromised enough. Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Air Service is back at Pitt Greenville Airport, offering safe, clean facilities and flights from American Airlines. That means the short commute, quicker lines, and better prices that get you where you're going fast and easy. See it for yourself. There's great things inside at Pitt Greenville Airport.
This is your Drive at 5 and ENC with Tom Lamprecht. Welcome back to News and Views on Talk 96.3 and 103.7.
All right, welcome back. And during our last segment, we were talking about Governor Gretchen Whitmer, and Clark was asking about her impeachment, and once again did a crack job finding out of the Detroit News in Michigan, it would take 2/3 of the state house to proceed with the impeachment. And while the state legislature is the GOP does hold the controlling interest, 59%, that's not quite 2/3. So 41% of the Dems in the state house. So that's why she has not yet been impeached. But there will become up another election, so maybe they'll get her out of there. The Blaze is reporting weightlifter Laurel Hubbard, a biological male who identifies as a female, has competed against women for several years. He is poised to become the first ever transgender athlete to compete in the Olympic Games. This is from Inside the Games, their report. So here you've got a weightlifter who's a biological male who identifies as a female. Now, he's been a guy from New Zealand. He has guaranteed a place in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. And by the way, if you could bet on this, I would go ahead and place your bets that this guy's going to win the gold. He didn't win anything. He never showed. He never actually made any finals or went on to win anything in weightlifting when he was competing against other men. He was 0 for whatever. As soon as he switches over and says, I identify as a female, guess what? He's winning everything. Everything. Mark my words. If you watch the Olympics this summer, this man who identifies as a woman, goes by the name of Laurel Hubbard from New Zealand, he'll win the gold. And all the yokel progressives will be, oh, that's wonderful. Oh, let's all clap for him. Oh, he's so strong. Oh, he's so strong. No, he's so strong. You got it right the first time. It's unbelievable. 43 years old. He'll be the oldest weightlifter in Tokyo, but he's against women. So, and we're supposed to sit there saying the emperor has no clothes. Oh, look at the guy. Oh, he's so strong. Yeah, he is so strong, but not as strong enough to compete with other men. In other transgender craziness, the new term now for mothers that the liberals are using, you don't call them mothers anymore. You don't call them women that are pregnant. You call them birthing people. Birthing people. And, of course, the next headline you will see in some liberal rag, and they'll try to be perfectly serious. Headline, man gives birth. Wait for it. It'll happen. Hey, listen, have a great weekend. Good to be with you this afternoon, and we will do it again come Monday afternoon. See you at 5 on Monday. Bye-bye, everybody.
All right, all right, all right.
Turn that old vehicle into cash when you cash in your trade-in at Greenville Toyota. Get up to 125% of book value for your vehicle, even if you don't buy from us. Trade for Camry, $189 a month, now at Greenville Toyota.
In North Carolina, we get up before the sun rises and stay up into the wee hours of the night. We believe in working hard and playing harder. Behind every meal, there's a farmer, and behind every farmer, there's got to be NC, the official state identity program for North Carolina agricultural products. Look for the Got to Be NC logo wherever you shop or eat, and you'll know you're getting a quality product grown, raised, caught, or made in North Carolina.
We're on location at Fabric and Home Furnishings, and I'm back with my friend Lisa Pendry. And Lisa's been telling me about all the great renovations that have been going on here in the store, and I've been looking around, and it looks fantastic. Tell us what you've done here.
Well, we've knocked some walls down, we've painted, we've added some new vendors, lots of new exciting things going on. So we're making room for everybody to get what they need to transform their homes.
Looks fantastic in here. Last time we talked, you were saying that you were able to deliver a lot faster than most other furniture stores. Is that still the case?
It is. It's changed a little bit, but we're still looking at around 8 to 10 week delivery, and we do sell our floor samples right off the floor.
All right, we always say that Fabric and Home Furnishings is more than just a fabric store, so tell us what the more is all about. What when people come in, what should they expect?
Well, we love to get to know our customers. I have the best crew I've ever had, and everybody on my team is an interior designer. So we offer in-home design service, which we always have, but now they can each come out to your home after they work with you in here, figure out what's going on in your residence or your commercial property to pull it together and help you make everything beautiful.
You got great folks here.
I do.
I can tell you, I haven't gotten to know them. It's like a family when you come in here, and everybody gets along well, and you can tell that these guys and gals really know what they're talking about when it comes to interior design.
They do, and that's really what makes us different. We offer complete in-home design service. We don't charge a by-the-hour fee. It's a flat one-time fee. We work with you in here, in your home, in your business, and help pull everything together.
All right, it's more than just a fabric store. Fabric and Home Furnishings in Arlington Village. Come see this lady. She's fantastic. Fabric and Home Furnishings. Come see the renovations here in Arlington Village. And thank you for the visit today.
Thank you, Henry.
All right, you got to come see what they've done in the store here on Arlington Boulevard in Arlington Village.
Cash in your trade-in now at Greenville Toyota. We need your vehicle, and it's never been worth more. Get cash for your vehicle today, up to 125% of book value. Then trade into a new Corolla, $159 a month. Now at Greenville Toyota.